want you to get too comfortable. Because in today's sermon, beloved, you are going to be my Greek chorus. You have a line. Are you ready to learn your lines? They're actually sung. It's a Sunday school song some of you may know, and if you don't, you'll pick it up quickly. This song was written in the 1920s by George William Cook, a Methodist pastor and revivalist, and it goes like this. Join in once you know it. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart to stay. Perfect. That's your line, okay? You, today, are the prophets of joy. So, today, at least traditionally, this third Sunday of Advent is reserved for joy. Long ago, Advent was called St. Martin's Lent because it began on St. Martin's Day, and that's St. Martin of Tours, a Roman soldier who converted to Christianity in France, and who was known for once tearing his cloak in half in the middle of a snowstorm to save a beggar from the cold. And that night he dreamed that Jesus spoke to him wearing the half cloak, and Jesus said, "Here is Martin, the Roman soldier who is now baptized. He has clothed me." St. Martin died on November 8th, and that day once marked the beginning of the 40-day fast that led to Christmas. And midway through that season, the church took a little break from the fast, and this Sunday was called Gaudete Sunday. Gaudete is Latin for joy. And some churches, you might know, mark this Sunday, midway through the season of Advent, with a pink candle. Truly, the church never settled on themes for these Sundays in Advent, colors for it, or anything along those lines. But even now, on the third day of Advent, the third Sunday of Advent, we reserve this day for joy. So, try it again. You ready? I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart to stay. Of course, in our day and time, a Sunday focused on joy provides a counterpoint to the manic joviality that our society requires in December. This isn't like some happiness versus joy debate, as much as wanting to bring attention to the fact that our society's year-end celebrations require us to manufacture happiness and deny the reality of the suffering we all experience. Where, amid the elf on the shelf and the dozens of Christmas obligations and the rush to get the feast on the table, where is the time to name the pain of this world? To name that 167,000 children will spend this Christmas without one of their parents or a primary caregiver because that parent or grandparent or aunt or uncle who loved them died of COVID. When is the time to name declining mental health among young people, another global pandemic? When is the time to talk about 70 people dead from tornadoes in December? Or to name the plight of displaced persons all over the world, or people experiencing homelessness who may not have a home in which to celebrate the holidays? It's your turn again. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart to stay. It isn't always easy to sing that, but joy is our message. When Paul wrote to the Philippians, telling them to rejoice in the Lord always, this was no Pollyanna message of happiness. He writes to them from jail. He writes to a congregation that has lost faith in him. They worry about what it means to have a leader in prison, and the people of Philippi worry that this may be the beginning of persecution for them all, and they were right. And Paul tells them to rejoice, not because he wants them to screw a smile in place, to grin and bear it, to manufacture happiness. Rather, the heart of the joy Paul professes is rooted in the love of God. The mystic and pastor Henri Nouwen puts it this way: joy is the experience of knowing you are unconditionally loved and that nothing, sickness, failure, emotional distress, oppression, war, or even death can take that love away. Rejoice in the Lord always. Being joyful is not the divine request to deny the existence of hate, evil, and suffering in the world. Rather, the heart of joy is a conviction that this is not the way God intends the world to be. The heart of joy is the confidence that God is working to change the world. The heart of joy is the lightness that comes in accepting the call to be a part of God's work in the world. The call to be prophets of joy, to tell the world of a God who comes to speak directly and honestly about sadness and darkness and fear and conflict, and to lead us into joy and hope and peace and love. After all, God did not bring hate into the world to conquer hate, but sends the Prince of Peace. God did not bring darkness to light a moonless night, but comes as the bright morning star. God does not use war to end war, but hammers swords into plowshares. God does not leave us alone to suffer, but comes as the great physician. God does not work in fear to finish off fear, but comes as the wonderful counselor, Almighty God. And we, beloved, are called as prophets, proclaimers of this good news, heralds of joy, that every act of kindness, every word of mercy and forgiveness, every covenant of peace comes from God, who is our joy, our peace, our hope, and our love. Shall we proclaim this to one another once more? I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down